Happy Sunday to you, friend, and happy Easter. And that is what I want to do today with today's video, is to wish you a happy Easter and actually explain what that means, first of all. And second of all, I just think it helps for you to understand like the purpose of a campaign. What we're doing here, a candidacy, is for you to get to know the people who are running to represent you on your government, whatever level that is. And I just thought it would help you if I explain to you how Easter informs me. Now, I'm a person who was raised in the faith tradition of Christianity. I have, changed my thinking and pivoted left, right, all kinds of different ways over the years when it comes to the teachings of Christianity. And I think that's probably similar to many of you. As we grow, we evolve, we start to explore faith traditions, perhaps challenge what we have believed, and evolve new ones. And sometimes that's within a faith tradition, and sometimes that is in another faith tradition. So I want to share with you today that what I'm not doing here is I don't want to preach, I don't want to convert, I don't want to proselytize. One thing that I value so much is how we live in community of many faith traditions. I was wishing my Jewish friends a happy Passover this past Friday. I had a Muslim friend in the superstore wish me a happy Easter. And when it comes time to, wish them a happy Eid, we will do that. And the great thing about sharing faith traditions is these faith traditions have so much to teach us, teach each other, people of different faith traditions. And so to that end, today I just want to talk to you about whether you believe this, whether you don't, no matter where you are on the spectrum. When we say happy Easter to each other, what does that mean and how does it inform me as a person? What can we learn from this faith tradition, the story of the Easter weekend? And is it important? And I just wanted to share with you, it is for me. And so, the story goes like this. On Friday, there was a person who lived 2,000 years ago who believed in and taught the way of love and forgiveness. And on the Friday, that person was executed for standing up for that way against the Roman Empire and against other leaders who disagreed with that. Now, what that meant for this person's followers was they believed that perhaps the movement was completely over. This way of love and forgiveness that was taught by their leader, when that person was executed, it threw them into a lot of confusion, a lot of despair, and wondering if it was all for nothing. And that's another really wonderful thing about this faith tradition is it doesn't turn away from feelings of hopelessness, feelings of despair. And so a lot of time in the Christian faith tradition, like Friday until Sunday morning, is the discipline and the practice of saying, things are not right. I don't know where to turn. I don't know what's happening. I don't know if the way of love and forgiveness is actually the best way, when it means that perhaps it can be utterly crushed and defeated. And that's an important emotion to just sit in and dwell with. And so many of us do that all the time. We've gone through seasons of our lives. Sometimes it's just an hour or two a day. Sometimes it's weeks or months or even for some people years. And that is something that this faith tradition invites us to grapple with, that hopelessness and despair and devastation. But then, of course, Sunday comes, and according to this story, the leader that was executed on Friday is resurrected. Now, there's a lot to unpack here, and I'm not going to get into the theological weeds by any means. But when this person is resurrected, they are given a whole new constitution, a new body. It doesn't just mean that they are resuscitated. The resurrection invites the followers of this way of love and forgiveness into that new mode of being. Basically says it is time for a community of people who walk in this way to activate themselves, to live that out, to move into a way of being, a modality of love and forgiveness and caring for the vulnerable, okay? So wherever you are in believing that or disbelieving it, thinking it's fact, thinking it's allegory, maybe you've never heard that before, maybe you've heard a different emphasis. Again, I'm not here to stress that today. What I'm here to share with you is that is how I view the Easter story. That's what I take away from that. That informs me as a person, the way of love and forgiveness and caring and kindness that I try to live out. Some days I'm better at it than others. If you're like me, maybe you're not great at it a lot of the time, but you accept, you kind of buy into the conviction that that is the better way, even when, and this is where Saturday is so important, you feel the despair, you feel the confusion, maybe even feel the doubt that maybe this isn't the best way. If it can be completely crushed and dashed and overcome, and maybe we don't even see the transformation that we're hoping for, there's frustration, there's despair, that is a very real part of living out that way as well. But then, of course, Sunday is about rallying together, resurrection, kind of hope from the ashes, where you believe that there was absolutely no hope at all. There is this conviction, this is what this story is trying to teach us, that that hope is there and it is worth pursuing. And then, ultimately we want to be in a constant state of transforming and saying, I want to ascribe to this way. I want to live this way in the deepest possible way that I can as a neighbor who loves everyone. My enemy loves the person in need, right? And that is, of course, a sometimes very counterintuitive way of living, especially if you're living in the Saturday of fear and anger and despair, which is a very real human emotion that many of us are also constantly experiencing as well. So, as I said, this is not about converting you or preaching to you or proselytizing you. What it is to say that is what the story offers us, in my opinion and according to my perspective. And I want to share with you that as your candidate, someone who's running to represent you, and this is the great thing about this, is it's like the candidacy is take it or leave it. That's democracy, right? You're going to look at somebody and say, I think I want that person to represent me, or I don't think so. So, every single candidate, every single person who already represents you as an elected official has beliefs, has convictions, has things that inform them. And I think a lot of the times we don't know what that is. And so I just thought on Easter Sunday, I would share with you, as somebody who grew up in this faith, I look out at the world through this window of this faith tradition, just because I've been so steeped in it, I've been so trained in it, and I love how other world religions, how other faith traditions can inform me as well. But while I can talk about what I believe about Easter and how it informs me, I just thought it would be a good thing to share with you, which is why we can disagree on the how and what to do and the best way to do it and policy, of course, and things like that. But I just want to tell you that I cannot give up on the way of love, the way of forgiveness, the way of taking care of those who are most vulnerable, even when it seems very discouraging and despairing and like there's no hope at all. Because people who follow this way, theoretically, precisely because of Easter weekend, should be almost irrationally hopeful, consistently hopeful, never believing that hope is fully lost. That is what the resurrection means. It's inviting all of us in. This could be getting kind of mystical here, but it's inviting us into the tenacity of hoping that every person and every community can be better when we love each other, forgive each other, and treat each other as neighbors. So that is this beautiful vision that I pursue relentlessly and often fall short myself, but continue to believe in. And so, and that is why I cannot stop working in that direction. Even when people say, Mark, This is not going to work out in your favor to be speaking up for certain kinds of people and speaking up against certain other ways. And again, I don't want to get specific here today. This is a good cap on the last few days of videos, I think. And hopefully tomorrow I can move back into, let's talk about business policies, let's talk about public safety, let's talk about housing, let's talk about the municipal plan. But again, as somebody sitting in a chair, as anyone who you vote for, what's informing that? What beliefs have they adopted? What values do they have, and how did they come to those values and beliefs? And so this was an opportunity to share with you how I am helplessly hopeful, helplessly optimistic that there is a better way, and that as neighbors we can continue to move forward together in that way of love and forgiveness. And if you don't ascribe to that particular faith tradition, or if that means that you walk that out in different ways than I do, that's absolutely fine. But I continue to believe in kind of that Easter message for myself and for the community that I live in. So all that to say, when I wish you a happy Easter, friend, I am wishing for you the way of love and forgiveness, whatever that looks like for you. I am wishing for you that if you're in a season of despair and hopelessness and confusion, anger and fear, that is very valid, and we walk that through, we walk that out together. But also, I wish for you a tenacious hope that together, when we follow a transformed way, when we say, hey, let's never give up on hope, that together we can achieve wonderful things for each other and for our community together. Okay, so that is what Happy Easter to you means. May you live in that way. May you have a wonderful weekend. And let's live this out together, friends. All right, take care of yourself today. Take care of your neighbor wherever you are. And let's build up St. Stephen together. Thanks, and we'll see you tomorrow.